Hello guys, and welcome back to another weekly vlog. Back to Tuesday again. Normally at this point I'll say, hasn't it gone just like that? No, I've had a very, very long weekend this weekend. It's been a difficult one, I ain't going to lie. I'm not going to bore you too much of why and what, but the reason I'm mentioning this, I say this vlog is always about the garage, but it's always about my life, my family life. And you've probably heard us say a couple of weeks ago, my son Charlie had the chicken pox. He actually didn't suffer too badly with it, but my daughter's now getting them, and she has not had a good reaction to them at all. Well, mainly she's only 2, so she doesn't understand and can't communicate quite as well as what Charlie can at 6. But she's got them all over her body, and obviously she's not. So since we found this out on Friday night, Saturday, and she's been up every night, and me and Holly are absolutely drained, to say the least. So yeah, lack of sleep, kind of, up. It's the most. It's like torture. It's the burns and pain. You can't take out on it, but it's like if you're up, you're up. But what happens is she'll lie down, have 20 minutes, wake up crying. At that point, you're just drifting off, back up again, backwards, all night, every night since like Friday, early hours of like Saturday morning, Friday night. So that's that. We've got her to look after, the poor soul. She's in such a sorry state for herself. So yeah, obviously on Saturday we just went out and got some fresh air. But on Sunday, Holly was at work, so I had both the kids, both the dogs on my own. And I'm going to get to that point now. The dogs, Hunter, as you know, a couple of weeks ago, he ran into we didn't thought it was a stick speared into the football field, and he just seen it from a distance, belted at it to as he does at full speed to pick it up, and it javelined into his mouth, quite badly hurting him. So we had him into the vets last week, got given some pain relief for him, Metacan. That didn't do a great deal, really. He's not actually, I will say, he's not in pain. He's not he's managing to eat, he's running about, he's in good spirit. But we noticed on Saturday he had a big lump under his chin, like the size of a small plum, and I was like, I said that's not good. That must be some stick still in there. So we took him back in. He's got some antibiotics, but what they've said is really we need to sedate him to get properly into there to see if there's any bits of stick still in there causing a reaction. So he's booked in on Friday this week. This is why I'm saying this, guys, because it's going to affect filming. So on Friday morning we've got to take him in, and he's going to be obviously put under anaesthetic, checked, flush it, and take a sample of whatever it is or drain it. I don't know, whatever they're going to do. So yeah, we're going to have to use the famous old pet insurance that they normally rip it off for. First time, touch wood, I'm going to touch the bench. Touch wood, since 10 years I've never had to claim. This is the first claim I've had to make, with Harvey. And it's not been bad, I will say. £100 it's going to cost me, and that's money back from the first time, which was 60-70 quid. This Monday gone, money back, and then any ongoing treatment. Not that money's an object, but I think that thieving bees, to be quite honest. These, for start, the money vets charge, and for a second, these insurance companies, it's an utter bloody disgrace. And the reason why, I've already said about pet insurance, why does it cost me, right, £120 a month to insure Harvey, yet I can insure me caravan, right, for £80 a year? And do you know why? It's because you love your little furry animals, and they know they'll pull on people's heartstrings. If anything happened to the caravan, it would get scrapped, it would claim on the insurance, whatever. Same with a car. It's costing me more money to insure these 2 dogs than a prestige car. To be honest, I put this to them. I pay for my house. You've seen me house on the other videos. It's not a new build, it's 1997, but it's relatively new in the grounds of a house. Costs us £110, £120 a year. That's for full building cover and accidental damage, full contents cover and accidental damage. So basically, I don't know what my house is worth exactly, say £140,000, £150,000. That house could burn to the ground, happily with nothing in it, nobody gets hurt, and they would pay out, I don't know how it works, but they would pay out in the region of £150,000 or whatever it's worth on the market, however they work it, and I would assume we would get a new house and money towards whatever was in it. That's 120. Well, I'm sure it's not quite 120, but we'll just say that it is. It costs me that for one damn month for the dog. That's a whole year for a house and contents. And spill a whole thing of paint down my stairs and get all new carpets, burn the house to the ground, let it flip and flood, whatever, and that's covered. Yet for a dog, 2 dogs, it costs me more, way more than £120 a month. It's disgusting. But you know why? It's them furry little animals where people go, money doesn't matter, and the vets are standing there basically going, well, you know, the next step will have to be putting it down or something, putting it to sleep, and everybody's, oh no, I can't have that, pay whatever it is, take me life savings, you know, it's crazy. Sorry about that, guy, last come in, just needed to check our tyres, because it's coming in for MOT tomorrow in case it needed them. But yeah, back to the point, sorry about the rant first thing, not in a really good mood after the weekend, but I personally think it's a disgrace, the way vets and the insurance companies go on. It does not need to be that much. I've heard some prices, what it's cost for to, you know, like a dog breaks its leg or something like that. Shouldn't be that much, but they just know that they're just making money out of it, which is sad. It's scaremonger. It's a bit like dealerships where the cars come in and they're like, you need X, Y, Z. It's like, you don't need all that. You need X and Y, but not Z as well, kind of thing. And if you do need X and Y, it's going to cost you £500, not £5,000 what they're quoting you, you know? So we'll leave it there. But anyways, I don't personally feel that good today. It's Tuesday. I've had next to no sleep, and I don't feel great. And Holly's not exactly feeling the best either. So in fairness, Olivia does prefer, like, you know, like, comfort from her mother, like any child does. Like, I sit with her for a bit and stuff, but I've already said to her, you know, like, it's one of those things when she's that upset and it's chewy, Holly just knows how much better than me to soothe her and settle her. I'm more of a hands-on dad. You see what I do, I take them out flipping doing God knows what, adventures, days out, that stuff doesn't bother me. But when they're really whingy and stuff like that, it's always, I think, a mother and child's job, like not job, but like, it would just work better. It just works better. I sit with her, she cuddles into us and stuff, but she does love her mum. Like, sounds stupid, but like we all did when we were kids. I'm 34, and when shit hits the fan, I still need my mum and dad. I don't always rely on them, but you know, there's little things in life where you still, even when you're older, you still need your mum and dad. Anyways, onto cars. That's what this is all about. I am just filling in a bit of time here because, like I mentioned, Friday is not going to be a good filming day because when I drop that dog off at the vet's at 9 o'clock, I am going to be absolutely ill. I know he's just going on a local, whatever you call it, what knocks them out, and he's getting some form of, it's not an operation, but they could possibly do something while they're in there. But it's got me absolutely worried sick. And until I get that phone call later on in the afternoon, I don't even think, I'll do a bit recording, but my mind is just not going to be on the videoing, or I'm sure you can respect that, or even what cars are in that day. I'll just be dropping them off and sitting waiting for that phone call to say he's okay, come and pick him up. Holly can't even come because she gets too emotional with stuff like that. So, and I'm soft as shit when it comes to the dogs, trust us. So I might be, it sounds ridiculous. He's a young dog, he's not getting put to sleep or nothing like that, he's perfectly fine. But I'm just really soft like that. And also I've got my daughter to deal with who's unwell. So we'll do little bits of filming this week here and there, but I'm not quite sure how much content I'll be in. What's been in anyways, a transit van's already gone. It had knocking on the spring. Somebody else had changed it. It's like a new shape transit. Somebody else had changed it, some mobile mechanic, and it started knocking after it had been done. The guy rang him up, he come back out, took it all apart again, put it back together, didn't even bother test driving it, give the keys back to the lad and said, oh, that's sorted, and still knocking. So he's come to us and asked us for a second opinion. To be quite honest, we had it on the lift and we can't find nothing. So unless we strip the full leg off this transit, we can't do anything about it. And he's like a parcel deliverer and he can't just afford to take time off for nothing. So I've already got the spring. Yeah, that was over 100 quid, big beefy thing. We just don't know. The only few things it can be, he hasn't tightened the top nut properly, which you can't access on those. The strut top bearing kit, he's fitted incorrectly because we can't get it from none of our suppliers. So I wonder where he's getting that. So it could be wrong. The only place is Ford, or he's knacked the shocker and it could need a new shocker. But until we strip it down, we don't know. And unfortunately, the only part we can get is the spring. We can't get a shocker or a stud top kit, apart from Ford, and they're very weird when it comes to sending stuff back. You can't just put them in a pile and send them back. They're really awkward. Like, we would have to like drive like 15 mile right over to Newcastle to return them and then back again, so it's just a chew. So we've sent that one out, and I'm going to wait until he's off in August. We've checked it over. There's no play, nothing dangerous. That's just a little knocking noise when you're going over bumps. And are you guys into the new Transit Customs? Let us know. Is it a common thing people do wrong on these jobs? We just don't know because we haven't done it. So that's that. Anyways, update on the Fusion, which I was like, it was mine, and I was selling it on behalf of Jerry. You know, who's a good, you know, like, customer and family friend and all the rest of it. That sold just yesterday, but it is coming back in on this time next week, Tuesday next week, to have the wheel bearing done, and as well as the wheel bearing and MOT. So that's done. I've already supplied the bearing with the car. I'm getting the CHR's away today. As you've already seen, I've done a separate video on that. It's looking absolutely mint. And I'm getting another new project, which I'm going to take a car on as a project in place of this one. So that's coming. As you can see, this thing is just looking absolutely mint since it's been validated. And you'll see what that'll be, possibly. I'm getting it the day. I may not do any filming of it. To be honest, as soon as the work's done, I just want to get back home today. So it'll probably be tomorrow. I'll show that on this vlog, but I'll do a separate reveal video on that. And what else is in? We've got a little, something in for MOTs took across. I can't remember what it was. There's another car which has actually been MOT'd as we speak, which I can't think what it is. And this one's in for MOT as well. The Hyundai gets, but I don't think it's going to be going in for MOT. I'll just get the corrosion assessment tool. I'll show you. I've just checked the sills quickly. And this one's not getting MOT today. As you can see, the arches are really gone in this area here. It's just made of corrosion. So that's obviously corroded there. And there's a few other places further along there. And that's really not looking good at all. And the other side was, I think, the same somewhere, was it? Yeah, that's the same little holes. And that's, I keep reminding you guys, that's a plastic hammer. It's not metal. I'm not spraying 7 colours of shite out of somebody's car, but there's a hole there. And there's another one there. As you can see, it's just like, in fact, I don't even need the hammer there, watch. Just use my fingers. Can you hear that crunching? Yeah, not the good times for that. So, just thought I would mention to you, that's what the winter does, that's what the salt does. I'm just going to pause because someone's coming to the yard. Sorry guys, another somebody come in there. So yeah, I don't even know where I was there, lost my train of thought, but that's the Hyundai. Unfortunately, it can be repaired, no problem, the sills, but in my opinion, with the state of this arch and everything, I really don't think that that's going to be probably the best idea. The front wipers don't park very well either, so I don't know, maybe the end of the line. And I wouldn't care. I was just talking about I think I was talking about the Fusion. Yeah, so that's gone, and I wouldn't care. I just offered him the Fusion, and he was like, "No, I'm fine for now." And I'm like, "No, that's gone." And Hyundai gets it's not right. He's gonna wish he had bought it now, which is what I always say. If you ever get offered a good car at a good price, because I practically give that car away, you know, you don't wait around. I'm not saying spend a lot of money like that, but if you get offered a good deal, it's worthwhile taking it. Right, so that's that. And there's a Volvo V70, which you've seen we do them calipers. That's having a lot of electrical gremlins at the minute. I need to go over the road as soon as my dad gets back with the machine and have a look and see if I can sort out whatever's going on with his. So I'll catch you soon. Well, guys, I just wanted to show you an update anyways. I've got something nice to show you, but before I get it in the image, I'm going to go over here and just show you. I was telling you just last week about this. About the they must have realised they've made a big mistake, because it went in and it was all done in one day. So there we go, there's the proper LED headlight like it's meant to have, with a matching pair, and we've just MOT'd it today, which the garage have said they'll pay for. as well for them out of the inconvenience. So in fairness, thumbs up to them. They've done what they said were meant to do, and it's all been sorted. But I have got something nice in here, which has just had some work done to it, which you'll recognise. I have actually got a walk-round review of this car ready to upload. So I'm not going to go into detail, so just in case you think, oh, that was short and sweet, Dan, I'm only going to show you what's been done, because when I get 5 minutes, I have actually got a full video. I think you might have guessed. There you go, that beauty. But there was one thing that did let it down, was these beautiful alloy wheels, period correct, but they're what you call diamond cut. You'll have all heard of it before, and he's had them done, but these are a very specialist angle. Just to show you, these are actually diamond cut wheels on a more modern car, obviously, and I'm surprised my dad's never curved them. That's how they go, like that, you see. When you scrape them, there's like a lacquer, a clear coat of lacquer, and they go all like milky colour, which like there, like that. But they're like a nice flat face to do, and they're a bigger wheel, but these are very, very, I knew they would be complex to do. So a guy's done them a nice deal. Obviously the whole wheel itself has been powder coated, as well as the diamond cut area redone, and he's had them zinc or nickel coated? Zinc coated, which I think really sets it off, because you cannot have a nice wheel like that and shove some rusty wheel fittings on, definitely not. So yeah, they look absolutely lovely. I'm not going to go around the car because I have got a special video lined up on that, coming soon. So I'll catch you soon. I did just want to update that, and well, send the customer along to have a look at this, just so he knows what we're talking about, that it's not going to be worth... Wait, it is worth it if you can do it yourself, but the state that arch is in, I just want to show you, is just going to get the sills welded, but the minute you start getting up to this area here, as you can see, that is just going to fall to pieces, which is not really ideal. So I'll leave it there, because I've got a separate video to do, because I'll just show you anyways. It'll be uploaded before this vlog, but that's the new car that's just arrived, and the CHR's gone. But I'm not going to go around that. I've got a separate video to do on it. So I'm going to leave that here for today. I think there might be a Corsa coming in for an exhaust. Apart from that, I'm leaving it here, because I want to get home and get to see my little girl, because she's not well. So I'll catch you soon. Well guys, I didn't expect to have a later part on Tuesday, but we've ended off getting this Corsa in. I think I mentioned it briefly, for an exhaust and track rod end. So there you can see, if you have, actually I've chucked the other one in the bin so you won't be able to see, but genuine TRW fitted as good as what they can do, but it still needs the tracking done. So that's a track rod end done, and a complete new exhaust from front to back, because the old one was absolutely gone. It was actually separated. But the usual nonsense with these Fiat-derived Vauxhall rubbish, in my opinion. The exhaust, because aftermarket exhausts are horrendous. I mean, these are hilarious. It's about the only company that supply now in the UK. There used to be Bosel and other companies, but these are absolutely crap. And unfortunately, you've only got two other options. Go to the dealers, and for a full exhaust for this car would be insane. And the other option is go stainless steel, but again, you're probably looking at about the same, but it'll last you, again, the lifetime of the car. But so this one's we want to join it here, due to being, what they do is with these exhausts, when they're from the factory, they're fitted is one piece onto the car, and then this back axle is put into place once the exhaust has already been like fitted onto the car on the production line. So with these, they have such a long sleeve fitment into here, so you can imagine this back box like that comes all the way to there. You can see the joint
in there, mind,
and
on the other.
What you want to do is, because they're so long, the sleeve joints, they won't fit in, so I've actually had to drop the corner of the back axle off, hence they're getting tightened up there, and drop the whole axle down, because you need obviously be able to get the exhaust in like that, and you've got your longer piece there, and because of the axle in the way, as you can see, even fully fitted, there's not much space. So yeah, if you could fit a genuine exhaust, you probably would have gotten away with that, but there is, like I've just mentioned, there is no other option. So that's the kind of nonsense at 6 o'clock at night that you can't be bothered to have to be dealing with, when you think it should just be a straightforward job. So there you go, I just want to put that one in. So that's the full exhaust done, and the track rod end. And in my opinion, on a 2015/late 14 car, I don't think you should have to be changing the exhaust. And we've serviced this car from almost brand new, so what I can say is it's not had a hard life, it has been looked after, and no matter what you do, they're going to fail on these, and it's going to become a regular occurrence. So there we go. But like I mentioned, that whole design of that idea is all the usual Fiat stuff. It's very similar to what goes on the Puntos and stuff. Slightly different for the Corsa, 90% the same. So I just thought I'd put that in there. I'll catch you tomorrow on Wednesday's vlog. Hello guys, welcome back to Wednesday morning. Just a quick update of what's been going on. I'm just trying to think the car that's... No, it's this one here. Well, just 2 seconds. I thought I was imagining something I'm not. It's my own car that's over there, the RAV. I've gone through that one separately with you, but I will get back to that later on. What we have got in is this beautiful car. I've actually owned one identical to this, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I've just put a love or hate on the website, on my Facebook page. Love or hate. I honestly, for the money, what these are worth, you cannot get a better looking car. And if you want to challenge that, send us a car that looks better for less. I'll tell you what, the back end of this looks like one of the Mercedes, I forgot what you call them, the C-Class coupes. Bearing in mind this design was out before them. And even if you want to say along the lines of Aston Martin style as well, the front just looks lovely, which I will show later on, obviously when the bonnet's down. But yeah, really good looking car. I'll show you this later on, obviously, once it's out. Renault/Nissan developed 2-litre DCI, cracking engine. They do the 180 version of these. I'm not sure which one this is. It could possibly be the 180 or the 150. Not the best to work on at times, but just general servicing-wise, they're quite easy. Air filter, oil filter's just at the bottom. Haven't really had an issue. The usual nonsense with these, with the fuel filter down in the wheel arch. But that's just the nature of Reynolds for you, basically. Got this I get mixed up, Mark 5 Golf in. I think these are starting to get a little bit dated looking now, I must say. I don't know, I've never been a massive fan of Golfs to start with, but I will say they're a good car, in a sense, but I do think they're starting to look dated now. In comparison to, say, a Leon of the equivalent, yeah, the Leons still look nice and modern. You know, but again, with this one, with the black wheels and the purple-ish tint, it's not really for me. But this one's just in for MOT. It's been checked over. The main thing I'm going to do with both these cars, actually, I'll just get a packet of it from up here. I did have some somewhere, or at least I thought it was up there. I'll show you in a minute. I'll go in the office, 2 seconds. Sorry, I forgot where I was there. Somebody came in. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to get on. I think I was trying to find you this, the Duck's back. 2-stage, absolutely great. No sandpapering, no messing about required. Just 2 bottles, stage 1 and stage 2, and some cloths, and that's it. No messing about. So you can see how dull they're looking on this. So I'm going to get on and do this one. And then, once this has been checked, they're looking quite dull. But what I'll do, I'll come back with a separate video when I've kind of done sort of one lamp, so you can see it at each one. So that's what we'll do. What I've got on the lift is this little C3. It's not the best of days really to be doing it, but it's in to have paint, just a bit of rough painting done on like bits where the paint's flaked off along the sills. I had some welding a couple of years ago, I think, and a little bit flaked off here, which I painted. And on this side, actually I've got to show you this side still full of mud, which I've got to clean off and dry. I just want to show you before and after. Obviously that was... The other side was much worse, obviously being at the curb side. So that's what all the mud all over the floor is. I've just been trying to dry it and clean it. It ain't going to be no Picasso job, guys. The paint match probably won't even be exact. I'm just going to use some silver hammerite. The old paint that the Mercedes, the ML gets. That's all it'll be getting. Just some of that on. The reason why is this lady lives in the country. Right in front of her house is a Ford, which I've been down, I showed you in the summer with this exact car actually. So every single day, multiple times a day, it's in and out through a muddy road and through a Ford, a stream every day. Hence it gets hammered. So we're just adding a bit of protection to it. Now we're coming to the end of the winter. I mean, you can see it's had a scrape and everything up here. I don't know if we're going to deal with that. It'll be mainly just the underside of the sill to protect it. To be quite honest, I think really just this square here, along this edge. This isn't even part of the MOT anyway, it's just the wing, but we'll still get it coated. And I can't see properly on this side, but it'll probably just be this area here where you can see where it's, I think this has been welded or something in the past, just needs cleaned off and done. So that's what's in for now. So I'm going to crack on, if I don't bang my head under here, and get the golf done, because this wants to be away for MOT. And once the lagoon has been checked, I've got to be doing the headlamps on that. But once this is outside and the bonnet's not up and everything, I will do a video walking around this car when it's outside. So I'll catch you soon, guys. I just thought I'd show you an update. This is just stage 1, and I think you'll agree, they look a whole lot better. But these are actually going to go dull now. You've got to wait for them to dull down. This is what's basically come off them. It's like yellow nicotine. That's all just come off them headlights using the stage 1 cleaner. Obviously, I've just rubbed that on them. But now, as you can see, they're starting to go hazy. So you can't apply stage 2 until they're fully, like, basically gone. Like, this one's going now, like a dull kind of colour. So we've got to leave that now and just kind of wait for it to dull itself off, which it will be shortly. So yeah, it's just literally a case of getting the stage 1, putting it on a bit of cloth. And the top tip I'll give you with this stuff, they give you loads. They say you can do 1 headlamp per box, right? I must have done, how many? I would say 7 or more. This will be like touching nearly 10 on a 1-pack job. And I'm telling you what, the more you put on, the worse you do. What I'll tell you, when you use this stuff, go very, very lightly with it. The more you put on, you will make an absolute balls up of it. Lightly covers it. So that's just done both them headlamps. And if you went more, what you'll do is you cause them to be the stuff you're putting on goes too streaky and too thick. And through my experience, I've done over 20 or 30 more of these now. I'd say little bits of like this, don't use full rags, because then what you're doing is you're pouring loads of product to just get the cloth wet. So just 1 cloth, you can rip it up into about 6 or 7 pieces, and you only need to use that. And this comes more importantly into stage 2, is the stage 1, you can do what you want, you can rub it everywhere, but stage 2, you've just got to go in lines like that, not scrubbing it. And once you've gone once, if you mess it up, you can't go twice. So if you have a big piece of rag, you're going to be missing bits you need to get. So you need just a little piece, and just take your time and do it across like that till you've done the whole light. So my top tip with this stuff is do not go overboard, thinking if you're using more, you're doing a better job. You're not. It's like that with a lot of products. Don't overuse it. It's as simple as that. Now what I am going to do is quickly show you what to do. So if you just bear with us 1 second. Right, I'll just quickly show you. I've done this one already, and it's starting to go dull. This is a good time now to show you this one, how dull they've gone. It's not quite dry, but it's getting there. And that's exactly, so don't panic, you haven't ruined them. So on the first stage, so I just want to show you what comes off this one, which hasn't been touched. This is just your stage 1. So I'm just going to pass the phone over to my dad, he's going to record. Right. So what you do is, that's it clean. That's what's come off the other side. A few dots on. Like I said, you don't go mad with it. You just simply wipe it on. No scrubbing, no sandpaper. You just rub it on. With this one, stage 1, you don't need to be too particular where you put it. Obviously, don't get it on the paint if you can help it. And just a light covering across the whole lamp. I believe this must create some kind of a chemical reaction when the second stage goes onto it, as well as cleaning it. But apart from that, this stuff's got me stumped of how it actually works, because it's worked that good on so many cars, and it lasts as well. I'm not going to say it lasts forever, but it's really good. So there we go, that's that lamp done. It's never going to be perfect, but when you look at that pure yellow stuff that's coming off them, it ain't good. So there we go, that is stage 2 done. So there we go. What I'm going to do now is just wait a little bit and then start applying stage 2, and I'll give you a quick tour of that, because this is going to get checked while that needs to dry. So I'm going to give it another 5 minutes and apply stage 2 to this one, and then you'll be able to see the difference in it. Right, I've done stage 2 just on one of the headlamps on the Golf, which I wanted to show you. So, to be honest, that's still got stage 1. I know it's gone a bit cloudy, but it was worse than that, like untouched. That actually looks better than what it did. But if you get a look at that, it's a tiny little bit at the top I'm going to redo. But the only problem is when you do redo them, you've got to be careful, because technically speaking, they say you've got to do it again. So yeah, I'll just show you while I apply stage 2 on this one, just kind of what you've got to do. That's just that little line there, and maybe it's been me being picky, but you can't even see it hardly on camera. But sometimes, again, if you pick on too much, you end up making more of a mess. So sometimes it's worth doing your first coat and just leaving it. But that is such a transformation. Right, so I'll just show you what I'm going to do. Again, you don't go over the top of the stuff. A few drops, you don't pour it on. Literally, that's it. And you just got to just do it in one straight line. Like that. Normally what I do about 3 lines, 2 drops if that, and you carry on. This headlamp's a bit better than the Laguna I do, because it's a bit more kind of uniform, where on the Laguna there's like kind of skirt curves and shapes. Again, I'm just going to add a little bit more. This is what you got to do. You get one go at it. If you cannot scrub it, you can't do circular motions. And this is where it gets a little bit difficult. You get to the top. Now I've got to try and get it like up and over, like that. I'm going to try one more, just in there. Probably would have been better with the bonnet open, but there, that's pretty much job done. I'm going to get the phone, and there you go. And I'm not joking you, that is how it's actually left once it dries. This one, I'm just going to do the tiniest little bit up there, and that's it. But you have to agree, that is impressive, and they were in a mess beforehand, and there's no scrubbing needed. Get in close and have a look. They are like new. Cracking product this is. Absolutely cracking. Just to remind you, Duck's back, and it ain't even that expensive either. And it isn't that kind of nonsense where it's, you know, this claggy stuff, you put it on, it rains once and it comes off. This is okay. The only one thing I would say to definitely avoid is going to those cheap car washes where they spray TFR. If you ever go to a car wash and they walk around your car with what looks like weed killer in a thing, spraying like this clear liquid all over your car, say no. It doesn't only knock your headlamps, it knocks this car hasn't really got it on, but this Laguna's perfectly got what I'm talking about. This fake look chrome, which my Altea's got it on the roof rails, Holly's car has. That's what they put round the windows, like there. It absolutely knacks that stuff up, big style. Knacks all of this up. Like I said, but mainly it kills the headlamps. And anything plastic, never have that on your car. Every time I go, I normally like to do it myself, but as we all know, we have busy lives, we don't have time. I'll admit, I sometimes take me cheaper cars to a car, like a hand car wash, but I straight away get out. And they can never understand sometimes, but I say no acid, no TFR, none. Then 9 times out of 10, you'll be sitting there and one of them will walk up and start spraying it on your car. And you've got to jump out and say, no thank you, just the regular wash please kind of thing. Just remember that one. But yeah, I'll do stage 2 on the Laguna, but I'll actually take that one outside when it's off the lift and do a full walk around on it. I'll catch you soon. Just a round up to finish off Wednesday's vlog, guys, because I want to crack on, do a few other bits and bobs. So, that's the Laguna, fully done. I will pull this out in a minute and show you a little look round, but the wind has really got up and I'm struggling. But the Golf has come out fantastic. They were so bad. By the way, that is like a reflection off that car. It makes it look like orangey, but it actually isn't. It's nice and crystal clear. And so is that one. No scrubbing, no polishing, no grinding, no mess. Absolutely cracking that. So that's the Golf done and ready to go. And the little C3, certainly no work of art. But we've just gone along and tidied up that edge. But as you can see, the sills are bashed in and everything has been bits flaking off. So if you took the grind out of it, you'd cause yourself more problems. Just done a little touch up there where it's all been caved in. But that's all it's really been, is just simply a tidy up to make it look more presentable. I can guarantee within a day or two of driving through the stream, the Ford, it's just going to be exactly the same way as what it was. But we just do this to save us a headache when it comes in for work. We've done a good poke around because to check if it needs any more further welding. It actually looks worse than it is. It's nice and solid, so there'll be no issues to the MOT, whatever it is, I don't know. But yeah, we do a lot of this to save ourselves. I mean, just bring the camera around. You might say, well, why do you grease everybody's brake pipes and why do you do this? You don't have to. We charge for it. We charge a small amount, like sundries on the bills. But to be fair, we do it to save ourselves grief, because like jobs like brake pipes, power steering pipes, fuel pipes, welding, all that stuff, it's just big money and not nice jobs to do. So if we can save the time the customer for it, and they're paying for a service, for a good service, I would expect my brake lines to be covered and all the rest of it. But at the same time, we just save the shitty jobs, like do the good jobs, make the decent money, play the trade fair, rather than I wouldn't feel right just going, oh, that pipe looks all crusty. If it was my car, I would coat it, but just because it's a customer's, I'm not going to. It's like, how you bit of grease or wax oil on, takes 2 seconds and it'll save you a headache. Put a bit of grease on something before you put it back together, and it'll be more than likely you who has to take it apart again in a year or so's time. Saves you a headache, simple as that. So anyways, that's I think the majority of stuff done. There might be another car getting picked up later, but what I will do, I'll just pause this here. I'm going to pull the Laguna out anyway, and I'll just do a quick walk around of it to add it into this week's vlog, because I've done the love or hate thing on it, but we'll have a little walk around it. Right guys, as promised, I'm going to do a quick walk around the Laguna, but it is windy, so as soon as I get past this corner, you might hear it, you may not. It's quite windy out here. So, I just thought I'd do a quick walk around. It's actually running diesel, nice and quiet. I think this is the 150 or 180, I can't remember. But with the twin pipes, normally they're the 180. This is the automatic, and it's lovely. Like, these are all LED, they look lovely at night. In fact, I'm just going to switch them on. They really don't show the effect through the day, but I'll put them on. As you can see there, and it isn't actually flicking, that's just the exposure of the camera. Some professional photographer will tell us why. But yeah, does look cracking. Mine was identical to this, 09, same colour. The only thing is mine didn't have the twin pipes. Mine was the 150. This is probably the 180. I don't know, I'll double check. Although it's part of the sport pack, I don't know. But it is such a cracking looking car. Really is. On mine, what I did do, I'll just switch the actual headlamps on. My car went to Scotland somewhere. Switch the headlights on and I'll show you. The only thing I think lets them down on the front is this candle power sort of bulb. That isn't as blue as it looks on the screen, by the way. Just the bi-xenon. I put some nice LEDs in there to match the bi-xenons on mine, and this is your running lights, which you can switch them on and off. These ones have been switched off because the bulbs don't last 5 minutes. And again, on mine, I've got some proper LED bulbs for the running lights, so they were on nicely. But on this, they've been deactivated. But yeah, absolutely lovely looking car. Please leave your comments below, guys. What do you think? And do you know what it is? As a platform, the Laguna 3 is actually not a bad car. Unfortunately, this one thing mine was different to this one, well, some did and some didn't, had the electronic handbrake. This has got the electronic handbrake, which can have problems with the motor because these run on cables. Mine had a normal pull-up one, which again I preferred. I'll come to the interior in a minute, but while we're here at the door, we'll just put the window down. Pillarless door, you always get brownie points for a pillarless door. Dan loves a pillarless door. So yeah, really, mine was identical to this bar. It was a manual, it had the electronic handbrake. It was the same engine, but the 150. It didn't have the twin pipes, but I had one other important thing. This has got a DPF on, and I've showed you how you know that with the Reynolds. Is you look on the slam panel. Mine didn't have a DPF, which is the better one to have. So yeah, this one's a good car, but it's got a few of the bits I don't like. But unfortunately, that's just the way you go sometimes if you want to have a particular car. You've got to take the good with the bad, haven't you? But I've already shown you this, which I'll re-show if I can get my hand under the bonnet. Let's have a look. Let's have a quick look. There we go, it's just there, you see. 0.50, and the thing with the little dots in means it's a DPF. Mine was 1.2 or something, and it didn't have that. So yeah, that's the big difference with these. Chain driven, to be honest, never any bother as long as you change the oil on them regular. I'm just going to have a look on the panel because they sometimes actually tell you. Yeah, they do actually. So this is the 150 auto, and I think they're FAP. That's basically Reynolds' version of having a DPF. Mine was the 150 non-DPF, and obviously not the auto. And I think because it is the auto is why it's got the DPF on, to keep the emissions down. So yeah. So that's the outside, absolutely cracking. We will look in the boot, because these things have, and I love this hidden boot switch as well. Middle of the diamond of doom, as they say. I don't agree with that, because I'm not actually, I don't mind these. But actually not a bad size boot for a Renault. A Renault? Where the hell did that come from? For a coupe. But yeah, I would like first chance of this car. But then again, a two-door coupe, I'll be in the same position of when do I use it? And how do I use it? Now, when you get into the car, this is where I think things go downhill a little bit. Nothing wrong with this interior whatsoever, but I do think this is exactly the same dashboard as what you would have in a 1.5 DCI hatchback. I do think for the coupe, they could have done a little. Don't get us wrong, guys. I'll swing this round. They do much higher specs than this car. This car's like a mid/base spec. So yes, before you all say, oh, but they came with this and they came with that. I know, but I'm saying from the base spec. I know little shitbox Clios and Meganes that have some of these features, which I'm going to get on about, is standard. Why this doesn't, and mine didn't, is weird. So first up, there's just no difference on this dash to say it's a coupe to just a normal hatchback. Would have been nice to have some kind of a coupe symbol or something, I don't know. Again, this part of the dash I like, and again, you get the TomTom editions and stuff with all the different extras up here. But this system works fine. It's easy to use, climate control, lovely little hidden cup holder. I do like that idea on these. And you've got your usual Renault nonsense with the key card. This is the auto, so you've got your Tiptronic manual mode. And again, the electronic handbrake, not keen of it. Mine had the manual one, I quite like that. But this is where I'm going to get on about, which I detest about this car and mine that I had. This missing button here, which you'll all recognise from Reynolds, is your cruise control switch. Your cruise control and speed limiter, which then give you your two buttons, like what that's got on there. Now, bottom of the range, I had a 1500 DCI, bottom of the range Laguna 3, and that had cruise control. Why on earth it's not fitted to the coupe is beyond me. Just really daft. So, that's one thing I don't like. Obviously, the auto lights, I'll switch those off. And there's just a few other little bits and bobs with them, which I just think they could have went a little bit higher up. You know, we've got a automatic lights and wipers, but a manual mirror. All the technology's there. Why not just have the auto dipped in mirror? Just a bit silly, really. I'm just going to put the window up. I mean, no, you can't expect electronic folding mirrors and stuff like that. That would just be ridiculous for a base spec car. They come with parking sensors as well, as standard. Well, mine had them as well. So again, bi-xenon headlights. They've got bi-xenon headlights, parking sensors, all of that, and not cruise control. Just a bit stupid. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. That's enough yak on. I just thought I would do a midweek review of a vehicle. Plus, it's a vehicle I've already owned before. The drive lovely. That was such a nice car. But they're the only things that let down the actually, another weird thing I've just spied. Very rarely you ever see them with front fog lights. You only have rear fog lights on them. Yes, they've got the bi-xenons, but they're quite old bi-xenons, and they're not great. And the bi-xenon itself does the up and the down. It doesn't have a separate bulb for the main beam, so you just restrict it to one bulb. That does your dip beam and your high beam, main beam, whatever you want to call it. And that okay. They're very much of that time. And I do miss, like on a dark road, to have the function of being able to light up the ground directly below you to see, like for potholes and stuff. For anybody yaps on, I mentioned this about my L200. No, I do not drive with oncoming traffic with me fog lights on. What I do is, when you're on a dark road in the country, which is where I live, you put your high beams on, your fog lights on. When a car comes towards you, you take your high beam off and you knock the fog lights off. Before anybody makes a comment on that one, because the first comment I got about the L200 is, you shouldn't be driving with your fog lights on. Yes, you can. You can drive with your front fog lights on. It's not when there's oncoming traffic. Same as you can drive with your main beam, your high beam on, as long as there's not oncoming traffic. Rant over, but it does my head in that when I mention upgrade your fog lights. Use your fog lights on a dark road. Yeah, when there's nothing coming towards you. I live in rural Northumberland. I can drive quite a lot of miles before I come to another vehicle. I don't live in London. Just thought I'd put that one out there. Anyways, rant over. Few things to get on with this afternoon. I'm not going to film it because I need to get on. And I'll catch you tomorrow on Thursday's vlog. Right guys, welcome back to Thursday's vlog. Just a quick one because I don't know what's happening. I think we might have a friend with today. So I'm just going to do a bit of recording while I'm on my own. It's not really much to do, but I'll just show you. Got this Fiat Fiorino in, which is also known as the Citroen Nemo Peugeot Bipper, I think they call them. These come with two different engines in. The 1.3 Fiat engine, which this has got, the multi-jet as they call it, or you get the 1.4 HDI Citroen Peugeot engine. And to be honest, you're probably better off with the Citroen Peugeot HDI. That does have its massive fair share of problems as well, but the 1300, like what's in these ones, there's a lot of problems with them. Timing chains, DPF, you name it. But this one is in for MOT. We're checking it over. There's a little bit of an exhaust gas leak, which we're going to try and locate, whether it's from the top, which I'll try and just when it's running, you can smell a bit of exhaust fumes coming out the carb. But with the usual thing with these, I'm going to check around this flexi pipe. But your usual nonsense, if you look, that all that you can, trying to get into them, you can't see at the top. But luckily, this one I've noticed got a bolt piece here, so it can be changed if required. But a lot of these, where they start blowing up here around these clamps, you've actually got to get a whole new DPF. But luckily, it looks fine here. So I'm hoping it's just going to be this flexi for them, and then that way you're still going to end off needing obviously the flexi, and it goes right to, let's have a look, the back, unfortunately, to there, bar the tailpiece. You more or less need a whole new exhaust, but it is good that it's not part of the DPF. But my suspicions are it's leaking in or around there. But I do know these have problems where this DPF bolts to the turbo, they have a smell, or it could be the injectors as well, but I'm not 100% it's the injectors on this engine. It's mainly the DV4, the Citroen Peugeot engine, have that problem. But underneath, they're not a bad little setup actually. Very, very similar to where it's like the Puntos and stuff like that, but I quite like them. They've done a good job actually. For once, they've got an aluminium subframe, which Fiat's favourite problem for subframes are them rotting out, so that isn't going to rot. That's a good kind of setup, definitely. Nice simple setup on the suspension. Nice bolt-on type hub, so there's no carry on with changing springs. And a nice simple back end. Just too simple. A coil spring idea and shocker. Nice, easy to get to at the top. The usual Fiat issue, the only issue they sometimes have with thumping at the back, is that top bush on the shocker goes on them. But here, it's just a bolt off here and a bolt off there. It's no big deal, is it? Yeah, but just a nice big beefy axle, unlike the Fiat 500s that don't rot. They're a canny enough little van, these, I will say. And by the looks of it, they don't rot. To say this is a 63 plate, 10-year-old, and really looking quite good underneath, I will say. So for once, Fiat and PSA, Citroen and Peugeot, haven't done a bad job. I just wonder, I don't know, I'm not 100%, if they do the 1600, the DV6 in these. It'll be quite a good little setup, that, if they did. So yeah, we're just going to start it up now. One of us going to put our hand over the exhaust and just have a little bit of a smell and a listen down at the front, obviously on top of the engine, clattering away, which will be easier said than done. So that's how we're doing with that one. Oh, look at that, I just spotted on the back of that truck. Can you see that or not? I'll try and zoom in. That's an old Rover. Is it Rover? Rover 800, 600? Oh, that's not going to scrap. Anyways, just quickly show you around. Had this EcoBoost in last night. This was today's work, which we did last night. Simple thing, just an oil and filter change. Air filter. Check over, and it's ready for the MOT. Nothing really much to speak of that one. This one's been checked over, it's just an MOT. I think I've zoomed out a little bit too far here. There we go. This one is in for MOT. It's been checked over. It's got the similar engine to my van. It's the Isuzu 1.7. But unfortunately, it's when they put the DPF on them, and that's where they go a little bit downhill. That's, you see there, your EcoFlex. Cracking cars, these Safira B, I will say. absolutely great. I would have one myself as a runner, and if I had to, I suppose I would have it with the Isuzu engine in, but the DPFs are nothing but problems. I would have that mapped out and the EGR mapped out as well on it, 100%. But this is a nice spec. It's a design like Holly's Astra. It's locked though, but if you look in there, it's got the heated seats. I've never seen many of these with heated cloth seats. Yeah, nice. Only thing it hasn't got is the cruise control, which I would actually add to that, no problem. New indicator stalk and then just activate it, job done. Yeah, nice. The only downside, like I mentioned, with these, they went to the M32 Fiat gearbox in them, the 6-speed one, which aren't the best. Would have been great if they'd just kept the original Z17, the same engine what's in Holly's car, with a 5-speed in these, and it would have been a Copeland car. We've got this Mondeo. I've lost what track what these are now. It's obviously a Mark 4 Mondeo, but people say they're a Mark 4.5, Mark 4.5. I don't know. I kind of lost interest in them a little bit after the Mark 3. But yeah, it's quite a nice one, this. I think it's like a titanium or a gear or something. It's got like I'll show you it later on, because it's coming in for a check. But I think this is classed as the Mark 4, isn't it? Or the Mark 4.5. I don't know. I think it's the Mark 4.5, one of the last ones of them. But yeah, just in for a safety check, nothing more than that. Just up on the lift, pre-MOT basically, check the levels, tyre pressures, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's going for MOT, that's for MOT, and the van it's going to be a late night tonight, put it that way. And it's annoying because it's all waiting round. The Fiesta's done and prepped, the Fiera's done and prepped, the van's almost done, and we're waiting round the night for our slots, which is quite annoying, but there's nothing we can do. So, on with the van just quickly. I'll show you underneath the bonnet, where I think they could be possibly blown if it isn't the actual flexi. From like this joint here, and you normally can't see a great deal of black, but I don't think it is. I think it could possibly be that flexi pipe gone. Again, people say injectors. These aren't that bad for the injectors. And there's no real way other than lifting all this off to see, but you can generally hear them like chuffing away, which they don't on these ones. So yeah, we'll get it started up in a second, and we'll have a little listen. So we've got it running, and I just thought I'd show you this. I don't know how the lights disappear. Only thing I've spotted, I don't know whether you can see, you might even be able to hear. You can just see in that crack on that pipe, the little bubbles. See those? That's the breather pipe. And you can see it. But at the same time, the smell on these, it's still, so we're going to take it up now, block the exhaust, and just see if there's anything leaking around the flexi. Could be one, that definitely needs to be sorted, that anyway. So we'll take it up and have a look. So I've just checked around the exhaust bit, and there's nothing leaking, so we can rule this out of it anyway. But we'll just need to look into this pipe, because up the back of the engine looks an absolute nightmare wherever it goes to. It might be easier with the airbox off and stuff, but as you can see up there, it's just everything in the way. Just see the bottom of it. It'll be easier looking at it from the top. So, but generally these do have a very strong smelling exhaust, I will say that. They absolutely stink, these things. So I'm going to leave out the DPF treatment today, because we know that pipe's an issue. But what I'm going to do is a temporary measure, is try and clean that pipe off a little bit, and put something like some RTV, which is this stuff. It's like oil, petrol resistant. It's really good stuff, this, guys. I'll be tempted to use this on my house. It's got everything. Waterproof, suitable for gaskets, oil, resistant to high temperatures. Obviously, it's designed to be oil resistant and everything. I swear to God, if you got some of that in white, it would outlive you. You put your silicone in your showers and you're outside and they go black and mouldy. I swear to God, that stuff, it comes in white, clear and black, would probably be just as good. Do you know that? So I'm going to have a go of just trying to clean that pipe up and do a bit of a repair on it. And I'll get the Mondeo in, check that over, show you if there's anything of interest on that, and I'll get back to you. Right, just a quick update. I'll just show you what I've been doing with the Mondeo. First up, I didn't expect it. This car just come in for a check, and it's needed more work than really I wanted, and fully booked for 3 weeks. In 3 weeks' time, I'm going away to Birmingham for the NEC, and also the week after that, we're in the caravan, which means I've got a whole load of stuff to do to the ML to get that ready. God knows what problems I'm going to have with that. So what was up with it? Not much, but enough to keep her busy. Track rod end, that was gone. Proper original Lemfola one on there. And I will say, these are one of the most biggest, bulkiest, heavy-duty suspension components I've seen on a car for a long time. So thumbs up to the Mark IV Mondeo for that. I haven't worked on many, honestly, believe it or not, I haven't worked on many of the Mark IV Mondeos. For some odd reason, I do not know why, I just haven't. Back pads, they were getting low, which I'll show you. So it's a nice set of pageant pads on. As I'll show you there, they were getting really razor thin at the back, so I had to do them for them. So a nice set of pads, and as you can see, I've greased up all the brake lines, various pieces all the way underneath till they've been done. And I'll tell you, it's a heavy duty. Honestly, there's most of the Renault vans I work on have less heavy duty than this, hence the knack all the time. But there's your reason. All the boot was gone, dirt got in, worn the ball joint out, and that was play. So that's that anyway. Now, before any of you say this looks a mess, it works. I'm just going to let the lift go. And the old saying goes, if it works, it works. And trust us, this works. Now, all the heat shields under this car, now which are part of the MOT, were knackered. They were hanging onto the exhaust. And the fitments you can only get from Ford. And I've had the old ideas before with using washers. But metal reacts, steel reacts with aluminium. They oxidise. So, all you use are some bottle tops. Heavy duty ones at that. These are proper, and this has gone into the floor. There was a threaded hole in the floor. That's solid. That's gone in. There's one at this side. It was hanging down here. I've put a hole in. It's only just hanging on there, mind, but I can't do much else with it because it's totally parted from it. This whole back piece was hanging down. So again, this is beyond repair, and that is just falling to bits. So I've tied it up to the chassis. That's not on the handbrake cable, by the way, guys, before anyone says. This one I had to use an old-fashioned washer, and that's secured in. And on this one, I've used the existing fitment to torque, but again, with a good old bottle cap. So now we've only got plastic touching it, which does not react. The metal reacts and causes this. It burns away the aluminium. So yeah, they don't look great, but guess what? They work, and now they are completely secure. So before anybody takes the piss, it's a much better idea. Even if I was to go to Ford and get the original metal ones, like I did on the other one where I couldn't get a bottle cap in, a metal washer, they just react and the hole just gets bigger and bigger and bigger till the whole heat shield is knackered. So that's why I keep, these are actually our fuel additive bottles, and these aren't your average pop. Like, I can barely squeeze that with my fingers. They're like a real heavy duty one compared to, for example, like that. So there is a good top tip. And it's not just me who does it, plenty of other people do, but trust us, it works, and I would do that on my own car, no problem. So that's it, the track rod end needs the tracking done. I've greased it up and everything, freed it off. That's ready, the wheel's ready to go on. And that's this one done. Topped up the oil, the screen wash, blah, 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 all that. And this was one of my popular first videos I did on this very car, where the screen wash pump, through capillary action, allows water to go through the wire, and the pump sits right here at the front of the car, and it goes right through to under the glove box and drops into the body control module, the BCM, and knacks them up. And I have had, have a look on my video, type in, on my video list, type in Ford Mondeo BCM failure or something like that, and you'll see it. It's on there, and it has proved so popular, and there have been so many people have this same issue, because the acid in the screen wash eats into the circuit board even worse. And you get all, this thing was going berserk. Reverse lights flashing, windows going up and down, God knows what. So yeah, it was one of my popular videos. So that's it for today, guys. The little van over there, which is just, you can't see it, that's going in for MOT. We've repaired that pipe. And if I get time, I'm going to walk the dog home now and maybe get my little Astra van MOT'd, because that's only got a week or so left. And like I mentioned, at the end of this month, I've got caravan and trips and I'm away to Birmingham. So I would ideally like that to be done. I don't want to leave it till the last minute. So I'll catch you on tomorrow's vlog on Friday. But like I've said, I've got my little puppy. He's getting big now. He's at the vet's. So I might not be in the best of fettles tomorrow. I'll do a quick bit. But there's a Nissan Note in for an MOT. And I think that's it. But my priorities tomorrow are going to be getting him dropped off at the vet's at 9 o'clock and getting to work and waiting for that important phone call to go and pick him up. So I don't know what content I'll be tomorrow, but I have put plenty in for you this week, so it might just be a 2 to 5 minute outro, and that'll be it finished. Catch you tomorrow. Hello guys, I just thought I'd show you this one. To be honest, I'm just getting to the garage. I've just dropped the dog off at the vet's. It's one of them things, quite annoying. They told me I had to be there for 9 o'clock and we sat for like an hour before anybody just come out and says, can we see you to take the dog? Don't know about any of you guys, but it really irritates me that when you rush about like an idiot to get to an appointment time for a dentist, an appointment, doctors, vets, whatever, and you get there and you sit like an idiot for an hour. I can't see the point in making people come somewhere to sit for an hour, and it wasn't even that busy. But anyways, a bit emotional. I managed to keep myself together, but Holly, she was in pieces, as you can imagine. But he's a young, strong dog, and the only thing we've got to thank ourselves for, it isn't the old one. So he's away now to be put under, whatever they do, where they go to sleep and they've got to check all around his mouth, take a few samples. £600 it said on the thing. Obviously the insurance is covering it, so just to put them under anaesthetic, check in their mouth, flush around, do a check on this, whatever he's got infection, £600. It's mental. And they'll only be on with him, I reckon, in real time, as in on with him, I reckon less than an hour, 45 minutes, half an hour max. 600 quid, just like that. So don't ever complain about what you pay to have your car fixed, guys. £600. Honestly, I can't believe that. My eyes lit up when I see it. I'm thinking, I'm pleased I've got £7,000 cover for the insurance. And what she said was, she goes, when they take any foreign bodies out of there, i.e. bits of stick or whatever, spelks, it can come back again because they can't see the pieces of wood because they don't show up on x-ray and they don't show up on all these different things, which is fair enough, it wouldn't. And she goes, you might need to come back in again. And I'm like, as long as the insurance is paying for it, that would be like 1,200 quid for him to go in just twice. So yeah, scary times. So I've had to put my phone on airplane mode, which I don't like doing because I'm waiting for a phone call from the vets to say when he's ready. It'll be not till after dinner. So there'll not be a great deal of video content today for this exact reason. I can't record when the phone's on because it just knocks the video off. So what we've got in, just quickly, the van, because I need to pick Hunter up in it. Just something I want to quickly show you on this while I'm on. I've got this already cut out. It's like insulation, proper like camper van, soundproofing insulation. And I've got them cut out there, 3 sections, which I'm going to put, if I get time, up on the roof of the van. Because all the rest of it's pretty much insulated, bar that. And I'm going to just put, I'm not going on to the other metal bits like the ridges. I'm just going 1, 2, 3 on them. Just sticking them on, see how it goes. It'll stop a bit of noise, keep a bit of heat in, see what happens. The Nissan Note, that is just in for MOT, nothing really to speak of that. Sorry this is brief, guys, but I'm just getting to work. My dad's gotten most of it done. So yeah, that's the Note in for MOT, nothing more to say. You've all seen them. Not a bad car, built by Renault, but okay. This one though, you've seen yesterday, had the track rod end done, the brake pads, low oil, all them shields hanging off. I messaged the guy last night saying, I've just gone ahead and done a few urgent jobs, because he only wanted to check over, but he's a good customer, he's happy to pay. And he was like, what? He goes, how comes it needs that? He said it was only in at Ford in December getting a full check. And he goes, this isn't a pop at you, Dan. But he says, this is why I wanted it in. He says, because I paid all that money at Ford for a full service. And they've done nothing, said nothing. I'm like, yeah, they've done the usual. Washed your car, sent it out, done sweet F all. And if that's meant to have had a service, and I will say diesels, you can change the oil and it'll still be black afterwards, but I don't think they've even done the oil on this one. All the heat shields hanging down, missing. Brake pads nearly down to the metal. Track rod end boot, you could say with a track rod end, it might not have had play when they had it, but the boot was still all split and they've not done anything about it. So he's going to be having words. I don't know which Ford dealer it is, but somebody is going to be getting a bollocking about that. Again, taking his money, doing sweet F all, washing the car and saying there's your keys back, sir. Disgusting. I'll get more into that. I'll let you know what happens with that as and when I know, because I don't know myself. So this is just in all of next week. It's just one of my dad's friends. It's only in for MOT. Don't know what it needs, but it's just been brought in, so I'll update you on that. Probably keep this one till next week. But this is a bit of an interesting one. Sophia was in the other day, actually. The fan's running continuously, as you can hear. Not that noise, that's the gun. But that's the fan running continuously. Cooling fan. And it just won't shut off. And I know straight away with these, there's issues with the coolant temperature sensor. But again with these, the usual crap of not having a temperature sensor. I don't know why they take away not having temperature sensors. For Holly's car, the Astra H is the same. Daft idea. So you wouldn't know that was a problem. So we've scanned the codes, and the codes have come up basically. There was an issue with the battery as well. That's not the best. But the codes are reading... I'll just go back to it. Don't know why I had to go out there. Just bear with us a second. Just get you to unplug that thing in a second. So I went on there, and it says engine coolant temperature sensor circuit range of performance. So straight away there's a problem with the coolant sensor causing the fan to run. So simplest way to test, because you can't just check the gauge because they don't have a gauge. Mental ideas of new cars, but hey ho. So we'll go on and we'll look at the live data. This car's cold-ish. It's just been brought in. And we'll have a look at the coolant temperature. 131 degrees. Clearly that's not right. Can you disconnect that? So he's just going to disconnect it there now. And that's Yarrow parts dropping off the battery, because the battery, believe it or not, is 10-year-old. Original Vauxhall one, 13-plate car, and it's failed the test. And these are woeful to start with. 255 cold cranking amps, where a new one you get like 540. So they were poor from the factory. So how it's lasted 10 years? Well, they can't be poor from the factory if it's lasted this long. But they were never the best. So all we're going to do as a test here is disconnect this coolant temperature sensor down the bike. My dad actually already has disconnected it there. And now you'll see it's went from 130 degrees to minus 40. So we know that's the sensor at fault. So we're just going to stick a new sensor in, a new battery in, and that'll be a job done. Once it's back together, I'll come back to you for a quick video, because like I say, I want my network being on my phone for the vets calling, and I'll come back to you. So sorry about being short today, guys. Catch you soon. Right, guys, just to finish off this week, just an update. I've just had a phone call from the vets. So, typically when I was driving, so I had to drop them on day off. So Hunter's going in for surgery now, so it'll be a few hours yet. So, recap of what's gone on. The Safira, new battery on, started like an absolute dream. New sensor down there, just see it, that's the clip. And it's reading perfectly, and the coolant fan isn't running unless it actually needs to run, or when it overheats, like when it gets too hot. So job done with that. I would show you the scanner. There's no codes, but it's on charge. No engine lights, everything working perfectly. So that's in a nice little job done on a Friday morning. They've got their car back nice and reliable again. The little Citroen, actually the RAV has just gone. That's away to its new home. The Citroen's going for MOT. The Note is done, and the Citroen is going for MOT this afternoon. I just want to show you a little update what I've done on my van. Like I was telling you, I had already had the stuff pre-measured up, and it's not a perfect job, but I think it's good as you can get. I've just done the 3 sections on the roof to stop the condensation. It'll stop the noise. It'll keep the heat in. Probably stop some of the heat coming in the summer. And I've also done the little bits, just like in this area here. I had a few spare bits left over, so I've done a few little bits just in there. You probably can't see them, but just in that area next to the bulkhead, well, the cage. So, but now just when you shut the doors and tap the panels, it's totally different when you tap here, and here. Now it's a lot more solid, to the point like when you used to shut the door, it would like kind of echo like a tin can, which is basically what a van is. But now it shuts like more like a car, 'cause it's got all the sound deadening in. So yeah, over the moon with that. To say it only costs us a tenner. Happy as Larry. No problems at all fitting it, actually. Needed an extra hand off me dad just to keep it in place, but happy with that. A morning job done, which I wouldn't normally do because I normally don't have the van here. So that's it. End of the week. My mind's on one thing now. It's getting this phone call to say Hunter's okay. I've got the butterflies in my stomach. Holly was in tears this morning and stuff. I try not to get myself emotional, but I'll tell you what it is, guys, behind the scenes. The old saying, whether or not you've heard it or not, but my arsehole's twitching like a rabbit's nose. I must say, I'm on total edge with the dog. I'm hungry. I haven't even had my breakfast. I'm going to go for dinner, and to be honest, I can't even face eating. But I'm just soft as shit when it comes to animals, I'm not going to lie. I really am. I'm not an emotional person in the slightest, but when it comes to me dogs, just a big baby. Simple as that. I'm sure all you guys are the same. We all love our pets. So I hope you've all enjoyed this week. Sorry I've been on and off, hit miss here and there. But if you've enjoyed it, please hit the like button as always. If you haven't already done so, I don't know why you wouldn't have. Hit the subscribe, and if there's anything you want to say, leave a comment. I do get back to every single one of you, and I appreciate every single one of you who watch this till the end. So I'll catch you on next week's vlog.